What do Falcons do? Rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Reactions, the show we talk all things Falcons, NFL, Georgia sports, and in general the sports news of the day. And guys, today I just wanted to quickly come back and have a little bit more of a scheduled discussion for the Falcons. We have recently had a CBS article that's come out and more or less said that the Falcons are the projected winner of the division. They've gone through and projected all of the winners. And just to highlight those real quick, I'm not going to go through all of these, but I'm just going to kind of tell you who they have winning. AFC East, they have the Buffalo Bills at 12-5. Cincinnati Bengals 13-4. Jacksonville Jaguars 11-6. Kansas City Chiefs 14-3. So that's the AFC. For wild cards, they have the Baltimore Ravens, the New York Jets, and the Denver Broncos. I do agree that the Denver Broncos are going to bounce back this year. I don't know that I agree that they are going to make a wild card spot. I think that the Los Angeles Chargers are a better team from that division. But anyway, we're going to move on. The NFC East, they have the Dallas Cowboys going 10-7, holding a tiebreaker over the Philadelphia Eagles, who are also going to finish 10-7. So Dallas Cowboys are going to be the division winner there for them. Detroit Lions they have going 10-7. They have the Packers actually finishing at the bottom end of that division. Sorry, Tom Grossi. And then you have the NFC West with the San Francisco 49ers being 12-5. I don't know how they're getting to that because as far as I can tell, they don't know what they have at quarterback. Trey Lance should be starting. Brock Purdy is probably not going to be healthy to start the year. But we'll see what happens there. They do have the Rams making a big bounce back. They have the Seattle Seahawks also going to the wild card. But we go to the NFC South where they have us finishing Falcons 10-7 as the division winner. Carolina Panthers 8-9, number 2. New Orleans Saints being 7-10, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being 4-12. Now, this is not far off of what I had. And again, I think it's as good of a year as we have ever had to make the playoffs. The Falcons have the easiest strength of schedule, bar none, compared to last year's winning percentages on the teams that we're going to be playing. Now, there's not going to be just a bunch of gimme games here. We have done a lot to improve our defense, and if we were a 7-10 team last year, I think we've done enough to win another 3 to 4 games in terms of what we've done on defense alone. Our offense is going to look very similar, if not a little bit better, bringing in Bijan Robinson. Now, again, I am of the mindset that Tyler Algier should get the starting nod at the beginning of the season, allow Bijan to kind of ease his way into the NFL, and then eventually I do think Bijan takes over that role by about week 5 or 6, with kind of having a 1A, 1B punch there, and I'm not sure who will emerge, but Tyler Algier he broke the rookie rushing record for the Falcons. I look for Bijan to break that this year, but still, he has done a lot to prove himself as a 5th-round draft pick, and I think he does deserve the starting nod, or at least to get the starting reps in preseason. And then if Bijan emerges, best player plays. That's just kind of how I feel about it, but Tyler Algier should get first shot at it. And our defense, though, that's where we've really made improvements. We have Calais Campbell on a 1-year deal at defensive tackle. We have, who else do we get? David Onyemata. We've got Caden Ellis. We're getting Goldman coming back out of retirement. We've done a lot to improve that defensive line. We have Lorenzo Carter coming back. The only thing we didn't really do was address the edge. And again, a lot of people are up and down about the draft with Zach Harrison. I think Harrison is going to be a good player, but I don't know where he fits in the current scheme. Lorenzo Carter is going to be the obvious, almost every down rushing guy. And then you have Arnold Ebiketie, who only played about 50% of the snaps last year, but was doing a lot with his 50% of the snaps. So I don't know how he's going to fit in there. And Caden Ellis now coming in at the linebacker position, going to come in and try and be almost like an edge rusher as well. So now you have Zach Harrison, who played an incredible season at Ohio State this past year. Don't know how he's going to fit in, but you brought in Jesse Bates to back up A.J. Terrell. You cut Casey Hayward, which I thought we should have done a long time ago to potentially get $5 more million and build up that roster. And you've got guys like Mike Hughes back there as well for depth. And then you also have, who would just bring in Jeff Okudah, who is a boom or bust candidate this year. I still don't fully understand why he was not eligible for the 5th-year option. We did give A.J. Terrell the 5th-year option. I do look for us to extend him in the near future. And as of the time of this video, that has not been done yet. But again, going back to CBS, they have the Falcons going 10-7. Let's just kind of run through this real quick, then look at the Falcons' schedule, if I can here. So let's see here. We have right out the gate with the Falcons schedule. We are opening up against Carolina. I will be at that game with a friend of mine, so that's going to be a fun one. I don't know if Bryce Young is going to be starting that week, but I think it benefits the Falcons more that we get them early on, because Bryce Young, I don't think he's going to come out and be quite NFL ready yet. I don't think he's going to have the talent around him like he would say if DJ Moore was still around, and I think that that's a game that's very winnable for us. So that's a win in my book. Then we go on to Green Bay, or have Green Bay come to us. Again, it's another game that I'll probably be going with. Let's see here. It's going to be a 1 o'clock game. That's another thing. We don't have any primetime games, but I will be going to the Green Bay game with my wife most likely. Tom Grossi, you do have an open invitation to that game. If you would like to go, you're never going to see this, but hopefully you will at some point. You do have an open invitation to go to that game. But anyways, go to that one. I do think it benefits us, again, that Jordan Love is going to be early in his starting career, and I don't know that he is the guy there. They've done a lot to build up their team as well, but again, they may be the team that finishes at the bottom of their division. Then you end up going to Detroit. This is going to be a tough game. Again, Detroit is predicted to win their division. It's something that I think is going to happen too. I don't know. Detroit could very easily be 1-1 at this point, and I don't know that Detroit's going to have a losing record at any point in the season. So I'm going to give the edge to Detroit there and give them the nod here most likely. I hope the Falcons win. The Falcons could definitely, they have a schedule, they could go 17-0 if everything goes correct, but that just is not how the NFL works, and if it's a close game, I'm going to give it to the Detroit Lions. Then we go to London to play Jacksonville. This is an up-in-the-air game for me completely, so I'm going to come back and make a decision on it later. Then we have Houston and Washington both at home. Don't know that I'll be going to either of these games, but I think both of those are winnable games, and we should be the favorite going into it. So as of right now, going into the Week 7 at Tampa Bay, I have us at 4-1 and a to-be-decided game, so we should have a winning record going in. Then we go to Tennessee, Tennessee, Tampa. Tampa is going to be probably the worst team in the division this year. Baker Mayfield, I don't think, is going to be the answer there. I still have faith that Baker could be a good player. I hate that he went to Tampa Bay because that means that I can't really cheer for him anymore. I don't really want him to do well there. I'd rather him be at any other division and do well. But we'll have to play at Tampa Bay. I don't know if we win both games with them, but I do think that that's a winnable game. I'm going to call that a win for us. So now we're 5-1 and whatever, not sure yet. And then we're going to go to the Tennessee Titans. It's a very, very close road game. Because of the timing, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to go to that one. That's also the Georgia-Florida weekend, which is big time for Georgia fans. But anyways, I am not sure how that's going to work out. You have Tennessee, a lot of question marks. I think they're going to be a bad team this year. I just really feel like they're going to have a top 5, top 10 pick this year. So I'm going to give us the nod there. So right now, we are at 6-1. And again, I don't know about Jacksonville. Just for the sake of argument, I'm going to give Jacksonville the nod since it's basically a home game for them in London as they may ultimately move out there. So going into Week 9, we could be very easily 6-2. Then we play Minnesota at home. We get them at home. That is going to be a tough game because I just don't know how good they're going to be. They lose to Darius Smith. They're bringing in some new players on defense. They got a new defensive coordinator. Who knows how they're actually going to be, but I think that's a winnable game. But I'm going to, for the sake of argument, give us a loss there and say that we're 6-3 going to Arizona in Week 10. I think we win that game. I think Arizona ends up with the top pick overall in the draft this year. I don't know that Kyler Murray is going to be back by November 12th, seeing as he did tear his ACL late in the season this past year. And I don't know that you rush him back this year. I would be really hesitant as an Arizona Cardinals front office person to play him at all this year other than for ticket sales. But again, you did pay him a lot of money, so he's eating a large chunk of cap. There's some money situation in there as well. But you paid him to be your franchise quarterback. You want him to be that for years to come. This is not the year to play him. Very much like Odell Beckham last year after he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. Didn't play it down last year at all. Kyler happened a little bit earlier in the season, but still close to the very end there. I don't think it's wise to play him at all this year. So then we have a Week 11 bye. Thank God we have a Week 11 bye. It is a perfect time, middle of the year, and we can really gear up for the rest of the season. If anybody's hurt, they get a rest right there in the middle. We've had a Week 6 bye in the recent past. We've had a Week 14 bye in the recent past, both of which I hate. I prefer to have a middle of the year bye. So then we come back, and New Orleans Saints also have a bye, and then we get to have Hate Week in Atlanta on November 26th. I am going to give us the nod at home against the Saints, so we're going to be 8-3 coming out after the Saints. We have to go to the New York Jets. I don't think we win this game. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have that team firing on all cylinders. They already have a better defense on paper than I think we do, and I think they have a little bit better talent at other positions as well, though we certainly have done a lot to try and get close to their talent level. We'll see who's better, Breece Hall or Bijan Robinson. I don't know the answer to that question. Breece Hall was doing amazing things last year and was probably going to be Rookie of the Year had he not torn his ACL. So I'm going to go ahead and give us a loss and say that we're going to be 8-4. Tampa Bay, we get them at home. I'm going to say, just for the sake of argument, we sweep them. We're 9-4. We go to Carolina. Again, it's hard to beat your opponent both times. I'm going to give Carolina a nod here and just say, it's probably a toss-up, but we can be 9-5 at this point. Then we play Indianapolis. We get them at home on Christmas Eve. Again, another team that I think is going to be very bad. So I am going to give us the win there. So right now we would be 10-5 going into the last 2 weeks of the season. We have the Chicago Bears in Chicago, and we have the New Orleans Saints at New Orleans. I'm going to say we split these. I don't know how we split them. It's probably honestly going to be win the Bears and lose the Saints. But I actually have us being a game better than CBS does, going 11-6 on the season, getting the fourth or third spot for the NFC. And I don't know who we would necessarily play yet. I haven't done that deep of a dive on the schedule, but that's just kind of what I think about it. I think we have the potential to win another game in there and maybe be 12-5, kind of on the most optimistic end. I say that, but then I also think this is a schedule that we could very easily, if we come out and ball and Desmond Ridder takes the steps forward that we think he could, I think we could very easily go 17-0 with this schedule particularly, but it's not going to happen. It has not happened so far, even with teams that on paper are better than us. So I'm not going to give us that much leeway. I'm going to say 12-5 is going to be our ceiling. And again, there's some other games in here that could be toss-ups. That Green Bay game could be a toss-up. Jacksonville could be a toss-up. You never know with the commies if Sam Howell takes a big step forward. I just think we're better than them in general, so we could lose one of those. We could lose a Tampa Bay game. We could lose to the Titans. We could lose to Minnesota. There's a lot of games we could potentially lose, but I do think our floor is going to be 8-9 this year. I think we are a better team no matter what than we were last year. So 12-5 is our ceiling. 8-9 is our floor, and I do think we end up being closer to that 11-6 mark, and I do agree with CBS that we win the division. But guys, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really trying to hit 500 subscribers by the time we get to the end of the 2023-2024 season. Hopefully I'm going to be able to participate in Tom Grossi's upcoming trip to Atlanta on June 14th. He's going to be doing a stadium tour, and hopefully he gets more details on that, something that I might be able to do there. But guys, thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, and as always, rise up.